In this video, we are going to hack a crappy web shop, or in short, crap shop. Hey guys, and welcome back to this new video. In this video, we will take a deeper look into hacking a simple web shop which has obvious problems or security issues. And even though this issue is pretty well known, there will be some shops still using it, so take care and don't go into this trap. But enough talk, let's jump straight into the code. So in the background, I've prepared a little project to get started. Keep in mind that I don't want to focus on some other things like setting up a Slim application, etc. I will focus on the important things of this security issue. Let's now see how this looks when executed. So I'm going ahead, execute the simple local server of PHP, and then we will take a look at the shop itself. There is it, our nice crap shop. So let's take a look at the product search page. So as you can see in the background, there's nothing special. Just like in every web shop, you got something like a product search page where you have the title, a small description, the price itself, a button to add it to your cart, and some images, which are some demo images over here, obviously. Let's now go ahead and add some product to our cart. I'm pressing add to cart, something's happening in the background. I didn't implement something like a reload or something like that here because it should be really basic and fast to make. So I'm just going to cart. As you can see now, it refreshed and I got one cart item, and I have my super duper tablet over here without the description. I thought it wasn't necessary, and another add to cart button, which we can delete later. But the main point here is we got our product into our cart. Back into the code, we will see how it's implemented. So I'm opening the home controller where we have our basic search, like with a name. We have a service which executes the search. The problem isn't like here, so we are skipping this for now. The most important part is the product page where we have the basic call to our API. So on the side of JavaScript, we are just attaching some kind of event listener to our code so we can call the add product to cart function when any add to cart button is clicked. The add product to cart function itself looks like this. We are passing the ID of the product which we are going to add. We are passing the price, and we are sending XML HTTP request to the server, which then adds the product to our cart. Maybe you've already spotted the problem here, but no problem if not. And if you're now like, well, I've already spotted that problem, it's not a big one, nobody does that. Wrong. I've seen it so many times like this, and there are so many videos about some things like this where a web shop got hacked or manipulated by using some kind of this functionality or this vulnerability. So it exists, trust me. And the basic problem here is that we are actually sending the price from the client side or the client code by JavaScript to our server, and the server is basically trusting that price over here. It's okay to send the ID and do some server-side code on that ID, but it's not okay to send the price and let the server trust the price. So let's check how the server processes the request. Back into the code, we will see the cart controller in the background. We have some dependencies like a session interface to work with the normal PHP session. We have Twig as rendering engine, etc. And the most important thing, we have our product service, which we will use in our add product route, which is the route for adding products to our cart. And then we are using the getBody function on the request to get the JSON contents of the request body. Then we are passing that JSON to some data, an associative array basically, and then we are doing some checks. The first check is, does this request contain any sort of ID? If yes, it's okay. If not, return a 400 bad request. Same counts for price itself. So if no price is specified, it's a bad request, and we are sending back like some information, which information was missing, etc. So in the next step, we are parsing that ID and doing some small checks if it's basically a normal integer or number. So if not, return 400 as well. And the next important step would be to get the product some sort of like a database or something. We are just hard coding in this case, so there's no big database or anything like that behind it. We have basically only our product service, which loads some test data, but this is not the problem here. Now the big problem comes. So we are parsing that provided price from the client. And yeah, this is the big mistake. I mean, we are actually checking if the price isn't at least negative. So this would be a bigger problem as well. But well, the client can like manipulate the price, which we will see in a second. So then we are getting the card from the session and doing some checks if the item already exists at +1 quantity, etc. But this isn't really necessary now to look for. So let's go back to our client and see how we can actually manipulate that client code to benefit us as a hacker. Last time I've added that super duper tablet, but now I will try to add the Ultra Phone 11 Plus X Super to check how this request is actually sent. So we're just going ahead, click add to cart, and now we take a look at this request. And it's pretty easy to actually see what's being sent, like an ID and the price. And now we know as a hacker, this is our target. So, well, I can just go ahead, say right click, copy as fetch. Now I got it in my clipboard. Now I go to the console, insert everything necessary, and here comes the big fun. Now I'll change it to ID 3 to get like, what is it, the laptop, and I don't want to pay more than like $3, euro, whatever, and I'll change it to 3. Now I'm sending the request by pressing enter, and boom, this should have worked. I will go to the cart now, and we can see there are 3 items. The super duper tablet from the first example, then our Ultra phone, and the last item is, not being surprised, our overpriced laptop, which is now really affordable. So this is basically the attack point. So now we've seen how we can analyze a specific request sent to a server and guess on how we might actually be able to manipulate it and resend it. I showed you how you can resend it by opening the console like F12, then analyzing that request under the network tab, pressing right click, copy as fetch, which basically means a basic JavaScript fetch function. And then I've showed you how you can manipulate the request by changing some parameters. And yeah, I can't stress this enough because it is used. It has been used in the past. I think there sometimes will be some persons still using that because lack of knowledge, I don't know, but it has been used. So take care and simply don't run into this trap of building your app. So after seeing how it should not be done, now you can think about how to actually do it. You can do it by requesting or getting that ID of the product the customer wants to put inside his cart. Then you could actually fetch the current data from the database. For sure, you need to make sure that the customer didn't see like a price of 20 euro 5 minutes ago. You go ahead and change that price. He sends that request and he suddenly has a different price. Means he had $20 and after you have changed the price and he went to the checkout page, he now sees like $39 or something like that. You need to take this in mind too, but generally you should fetch the data from the database to get the correct price and not by trusting the client code.